Apparently, World Goth Day. I think Kim Kardashian was seen drinking this brand. I don't know for sure. Don't really care. It's a drink combo. Let's go. That's good bourbon. I'm gonna pour some out for the dead goth homies on the chair. We're good on that. Cheers. And that Kentucky bourbon black is like slightly stronger than Jack Daniels. Let's validate our parking. Divosia. Look at that pour action. That is sexy. Okay.
You know what time it is, baby. It's World Goth Day. Josh is coming out, and we're going to get a nice insight and look into his new trailer. You can see he's already not going to take care of it. Surprise, surprise. He has a dedicated smoke room. It seems like there was a conspiracy theory that... There was a theory out there that Josh actually was living in like a group home with people, and that's why he was like cornered into one particular space. But it seems like he's on his own, and it's mostly Clint's discretion telling him what to do and what not to do. But Josh is already over here pouring drinks onto his chair. You already know this space is going to turn into an absolute pigsty almost instantly. And we'll see once we get to the food hack that, yeah, he's putting some stuff around the room, and it's going to get cluttered very fast, but I'm glad that we're seeing more of this trailer. I feel like he's going to be a little bit more secretive in terms of showing things, but I'm going to point out some interesting things that are going on, and, let's just down a nice little drinky poo for all of us, because it's World Goth Day, baby. All our goths out there and sexy goth girls. Ooh, yeah. You think he sent a love note to Queen Cobra? You think she's getting something? I'm not too certain about that. Let's get into the food hack.
Roasted garlic mashed potatoes from the Idahoan Company. Some whole milk. I stuck it in the freezer, let it get ice cold and unthawed it, so it's gonna have some ice chunks in it. And apparently the thing is not opened. Look at the easy squeeze bottle for convenience, and I'm gonna splash a little bit in that. Pre-cook them or nothing, just throw it in there. I already got it opened up. So I'm gonna throw the whole thing in there.
Josh really has a magic and a charisma in himself to turn a $3 recipe into a $300 recipe, and there's a lot of things to examine in this introductory clip. I mean, we're getting classics, we're getting like steak rub, we're getting fake bacon bits in there, but we're also seeing him use whole milk that he put in the freezer. Now, I'm a big milkman, all right? I'm sure some of you out there are also excellent milkmen, but I don't freeze my milk. Is that a common thing? Is that something people do to try and keep it lasting longer? I don't know. I tend to try and get the longest expiration date milk I can find at the store and then drink it within that time frame, and then I'm good to go. Why are we putting whole milk into the freezer? Something I've never really encountered or experienced. And then he's got the easy squeeze sour cream, just putting a fuckload in there, just going all out, spraying it in there, but of course he has to struggle a little bit. Was unaware that there was a seal on it that he had to peel off, but he's back in action. And I think part of something that I wish Clint would do, outside of the fact that Josh is clearly, his motor functions and his brain function is at an all-time low. Muttering, stuttering, bumbling, and Clint thinks this is all cool and epic. This is very cool. I'm down the clown with that. As Josh just deteriorates inside of his, basically, coffin. This is where we're going to see Josh demise. But I'm always perplexed that Clint never taught him to buy store brand stuff because he's buying the Easy Squeeze bottle of sour cream. The regular tub is probably $1 cheaper. You know, it's minor things like that. Josh always complains that he's running out of money, and half of it, or 90% of it, is because of DoorDash orders, obviously. He probably didn't go to the store to buy any of this anyway. Either Clint brought it over or he DoorDashed it to himself. But if he would just buy generic brand stuff for all of his fucking ingredients, he would cut the recipe costs in half. Yet, he's always perplexed as to where'd all my money go? I'm all out of money, trolls. Send me money. I have to make more wands in order to pay my fucking mortgage. It's just, I don't know. It's a stupid comment. It's a waste of time for me to mention. But I also want to say, take notice at that window. You see that it's daylight out there? Pay attention to that.
By the time this all microwaves, it's just going to make some bomb-ass mashed taters and gravy. And the cheese and the gravy are going to come towards the end. But I want to make this taters right. So we're going to start with some bacon flavored ranch. Now I did use I would use Hidden Valley for this excursion. However, they were out of Hidden Valley Ranch, so all they had was Signature Select.
So we got all the classics of a Cobra recipe, right? Cheese, meat, fake meat, I guess. You know, you got salad dressing now that's bacon flavored. You got a beer in there. You got copious amounts of seasoning. We're definitely cooking with fire here, baby. And it's just, I'll never understand the instant mashed potatoes thing. I think I mentioned this previously with Fatty when Fatty did a food hack type of thing. But it's like making mashed potatoes is pretty easy. It takes like 20 minutes to do. And 90% of the time it's just waiting for the potatoes to boil in a pot. So like, I don't know, I made potatoes like 2 days ago. It was easy and quick. I came home from work and I set it up and it was good to go. But I will never understand people trying to save time by making instant mashed potatoes. And spoiler alert, Josh is gonna cook this thing in the microwave for like 30 minutes overall. So we're not saving any fucking time at this point.
Stir it around a little bit. Release your instant potato spuds. Boy, howdy, they don't want to stay up. There it goes. Consistency, that's what I'm hoping for anyways. Never made mashed potatoes, and I don't want to bother with doing it by scratch. They get nice and hot. And then we'll add other ingredients, and I'll film that too.
He's really slurring his speech. And obviously, if you've ever watched King Cobra food hack in its entirety, like all the parts that he uploads, you'll notice that each part he'll just repeat himself a million times over and over again. He'll mention that he's gonna film everything and talk about everything, and trust me, he's gonna talk about everything. He'll bring up in the second and third part each fucking part, or like each individual ingredient that he included into the recipe, and it's like, bruh, I watched the first two parts. I know what's going on. No worries. But it's just, I don't get it. I really don't. I understand Josh's food sense, food taste is completely off. But like, what's the point at this point? And you're going to see very quickly that this quickly turns away from being an actual potato dish. I mean, it basically did from the start. The amount of sour cream and milk he poured in already diluted the entire thing and ruined it. But why not just, I would understand if Josh just wanted to eat nachos all day because he loves cheese and he loves Doritos and chips. Cool. That makes sense. That's like 3 ingredients you could put onto it. Obviously, he put like 40, but hypothetically speaking, I don't know why we're masquerading this potato recipe as a potato recipe, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to taste potatoes at the end of this recipe.
Now right now it looks kind of gross because I'm sitting here mixing all this mush together. But you microwave it Heat it up in an oven 350 until it's golden fluffy. Then we can start mixing our next ingredients. And I think we'll see how them mashed potatoes do.
Gotta love wiping your dirty hands all over your bloated gut. That's very epic. That's very goth of you, King Cobra. Why use a sink to wash your hands when your hands get all messy from the food hack you're making? Just wipe it all over yourself. It's not like you're gonna wash your clothes anyway. And now that I mentioned bringing up washing clothes, do you think he has a washer dryer here? I wouldn't think so. Question mark. That sounds like a much more added expense. I don't know if we're splurging for that here. Maybe there's a laundromat nearby, but this man, if he doesn't, I mean, even if he has a washer dryer inside of his apartment, he's not going to wash it regularly. But I can't imagine him washing regularly if he has to go and walk somewhere to a laundromat. Like, he's not going to clean his clothes ever. We need Jessica back in here to come save the day. And one last little point I want to point out is that there is a smoke detector in the background. That's very cool. Maybe that's going to save Josh's life someday. And I hope to God he has a carbon monoxide detector, because we all know that the silent killer, that's what's going to get him. But at least we're covering some of our bases here, all right? Josh, at the very least, as he succumbs to his demise, there will be beeping in the background, alerting him to get out, and he just won't.
Those mashed potatoes, I gave them a 4-minute burst 3 times. Then I let them cool off. And now they're looking extra fluffy, extra delicious.
Percent could convince me that this is stuffing. When I first saw it, it doesn't look like potatoes at all. It's a bit confusing because instant mashed potatoes should be pretty creamy, right? And this bowl doesn't look very creamy. He hasn't really put anything into it that should make it too lumpy yet. And part of it too is just like microwaving this food for 12 minutes. Dude, come on. I mean, honestly, cooking them on a fucking stovetop takes the same amount of time. And then you just mix in the ingredients and blend it together. It's so easy. I just, whatever, dude. You can't be too critical of a King Cobra food hack episode, all right? We should be used to what's existing there currently.
And we'll just take it, tear it into chunks, and stick it in there. A lot of you making this recipe are probably watching King Cobra going, I'm also a single person making food on the budget. Because, people are like, hey, I want to see Cobra make some, bomb-ass cooking foods. So we're going to take the entire block of garlic, cheese.
So he completely misunderstands his audience. I don't think anybody's actually out there replicating his recipes unless it's a gag, right? Nobody's out there saying, yep, I go to my reliable source, Cobra, in order to make my meals. And he calls it cost efficient. This is the least cost efficient recipe of all time. We have 40 different ingredients totaling $150. This is an absurd amount of cost going into just mashed potatoes, which should cost $5 for a couple pounds of potatoes, plus some cream and some butter, and that's it. You're good to go. But I also want to point out, you remember in the beginning I mentioned pay attention to the window? It's nighttime now, baby, because he probably went and passed out in his chair for a couple hours, and now he's back in action. He's like, all right, time to take this cold, disgusting, fucking congealed mix, and time to add whole blocks of cheese. You can't even be bothered. He has shredded cheese he'll add later, but you can't even be bothered to grate your own cheese a little bit. These blocks are not going to melt down in there, buddy. It's not going to work out exactly like that. And I also want to point out, we still have Puff's cage back there. Puffer's cage, R.I.P. Puff. I mean, it's well into springtime, and he hasn't returned. R.I.P. Puff. It's all over. And then we got I can't tell if that's the underlayment of carpet, if it's actually carpet or if it's a rug against the wall. Are they replacing the floors in here? A lot of questions I have, but there are some little trinkets that we're able to decipher out here. But at the very least, we know it's probably like 11 p.m. at night right now, and we're food hacking this bitch.
Cheese. And I want to put a healthy sprinkle on top. Yeah, that's enough cheese for these potatoes, please. And when it's fresh out of the microwave and that cheese, if I could stir it around with this fork that I keep separate out of the microwave while I cook it.
I'm sure Clint gave him a reminder. Hey, buddy, you can't be microwaving metal. I have to make sure I alert you of that because we just dropped 25 grand on this trailer, and please, for the love of God, do not burn it down. Do not have some sort of explosion come out of it either. Thank you very much. And Clint, don't worry. Josh is reminding you. He's not putting the fork in the microwave. No worries. What he is doing is putting half a pound of shredded cheese on top of his already cheesy, ranchy, sour creamy, milky gloop that's in there. That's very cool. We're going to turn this into something very delicious and very epic.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy King Cobra. Look at all that cheesy mess right there. Let it cool off for a hot minute. Microwaved it for like 2 to 3 4-minute bursts. And we're going to take a bunch of this brown gravy and stir it around. The brown gravy action gonna get stirred the fuck around.
Now we're getting what looks like pudding that we're putting on top of what looks like a Mexican bean casserole dip. I don't know how he's able to transform this dish into looking into so many different things. Initially it was gray gloop, basically what the Krabby Patty looks like when it's sold to a corporation. And now we're getting just gloopy gloop of, it literally looked like a Mexican bean dip. That's the first thing that initially came to mind. And now we're pouring brown pudding gravy on top. Doesn't that sound delicious, boys? I'm ready to just feast. This is going to be a spectacular thing. And don't worry, we're not done adding more ingredients to this atrocity.
Trying to hint of my creation before completing it, and it's not that bad. The ranch has been stirred around with the gravy. So now we're going to add a couple more things. We're going to add some of these Lay's. Some good looking munch right there, man. But we got just a little bit more to add to the top of it. We're going to add some cheddar jalapeno Cheetos to the top of it.
That's right, baby. We're adding Cheetos and we're adding Lay's ruffled chips into it. Isn't that a great combination? And this is the point that I reached where I was like, well, this is officially no longer a potato recipe. I know he's adding processed potatoes. Well, I guess the instant potatoes are processed, but more processed potatoes in the chips. And then he's adding Cheetos for some reason. He's mixing it around. You're getting a nice crunch. I mean, I understand. I really like a burger that has a nice crisp to it, right? I like it when you have the juicy and the crisp. He's just mixing and matching different textures into his mouth. He's like Gordon Ramsay in that way. You have to be able to visually look at it and have interest. And you also have to be able to take a nice little bite into Chowtown, baby. And then it's a Michelin star graded deliciousness.
Everybody wants to throw like a progressive fit about it. I don't care. I'm making mashed potatoes with like cheese and meat. It's not that fucking complicated. In the microwave it shall go for 4 minutes.
That's right, baby. This is how this video is gonna end. We're microwaving it again. He basically microwaved it for close to 30 minutes, like I mentioned. Just a congealed disaster, but that's what we've come to appreciate Cobra for. So hopefully soon we'll get back into some drinky poo streams, maybe some rages. Now he can scream and cry as much as he wants on camera, so that's pretty cool. But I just know deep down Clint is really proud of Josh. Look how well he is behaving on his own. He's taking great care of himself, and I'm appreciative for that. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.